So this is it. This is what people want to see. Like literally, this is what most people watched on my channel last time round. I think like possibly my channel ever. So here we are, over a year later, selling out, cashing in and doing a 2024 whiskey collection video. Like these bottles don't pay for themselves. I wish they did. Somehow I did slightly achieve my goal of condensing my collection down slightly.
I'm proud of you, you know that. I hope you do.
Don't know if collection's the right word. Hoard, my whiskey shambles, financial irresponsibility. So join me as we dive through all the bottles of this out of control hobby of mine. But welcome back to Jeff Whiskey, the whiskey slapper in the shirt and shades. And if this sounds good, slap subscribe. But for now, let's crack on.
Jeff Whiskey.
Somehow I achieved my goal that I set last year, and that is to condense my collection down slightly. And slightly is definitely the word to use. Like I'm a super slow drinker, always drink responsibly. However, somehow this year there's been 25 bottle changes since last year.
If you're right, that's quite a talent.
But for me, let's start local and let's dive in with English whiskey.
Little Hand says it's time to rock and roll.
Starting off with a favourite, Cotswold Signature. I think this is something I'll always have a bottle of. This one's not even open yet and I'm going to try kill off some bottles first before I get back to it. Possibly my third bottle of this. Cannot recommend it enough. We've got Cotswold Reserve. Yeah, very much on the dregs. It'll be a bottle that I need to finish off soon. In truth, I'm holding back so I can sit down and do a review with this, the Signature, and then the Cotswolds Founders Reserve. Hopefully you can see these okay instead of using that really unstable table that I did last time. Firstly, the cigar malt. Did you see the table move then? I've pushed the camera right back. So I'm sorry, I'm afraid to say you're seeing a corner of a printer as well, you know. It's all glamour here.
I know what they mean when they say movie magic.
3 Cotswolds, that's all I've got for English whiskey at the moment. And in truth, I don't really have the greatest desire to dive into further English bottles at the moment. I'm sure there's like bottles I'm missing, but for me, it feels like the English whiskey hype is possibly slowed down slightly. So now let's go to our neighbours and talk about Welsh whiskey. So we got Penderyn Portwood and its frustratingly tall brother, the Penderyn Royal Welsh Whiskey. Both have been opened, but as you can see, I've barely dented them. Tried this one at distillery and it was the best value bottle you could buy there, as in terms of like other online prices. And I've enjoyed the Portwood many times. Like this is one I tried as a few samples, so I'm glad to have a bottle, but it's not something I'm quite reaching for at the moment. I'm sure like I'm going to get back on that Welsh whiskey hype train. The Welsh Whiskey Festival's coming up this year and it's something I'd like to go to, whether I can or not, we'll see. That's all I've got for Welsh. While it would make sense to jump to Scotch, for some reason next to me I've now got Japanese whiskey. Starting off with the little Nika from the barrel. Solid whiskey, a fantastic Ben Nevis. I know the whole it's not technically Japanese, but don't think too much about this video.
You just go with the flow, okay?
And the only other bottle joining it is the single malt Miyago.
That's not how it's pronounced.
That one. Not popped it yet. I'm very excited to try it. It was a gift from a good friend for like helping them with some bits. So yeah, really excited to crack on. Keeping on that world whiskey category, which in truth, I think is becoming a bit bloated and soon it's going to be much more segmented with so many countries and locations just popping out more and more great liquid. But going Dutch, I've still got a little bit of the, I say a little bit, it's actually just under half a bottle of the single malt Dutch whiskey, Millstone 4-year-old. So this was my whiskey of the year last year, year before, I don't know. And I enjoyed sharing it with the uncut and unfiltered podcast folk who were, I would say, slightly underwhelmed by it. And in truth, it did make me question how much I love it, but still, it's a banger. I feel like I should have been showing every bottle as I went along so you can see it a bit better.
Well, we'll just have to do it again.
Oh, Gonzo, speak to me.
You don't come here for professionalism. Next, we've got an American single malt, the American Oak Westland. An absolute banger of a whiskey. I wouldn't say I love it quite as much as the Gariana, but this bottle was going cheap and I was like, yep, I've checked my spreadsheet. This scores very highly. Let's grab a bottle. Now, staying stateside, let's get some bourbons on the go. Got Wild Turkey 101, a staple on everyone's shelf. I don't need to rabbit on about too much. I will do a review, but I don't need to dive too deep because it's a very well loved and well covered bottle. And if you've not tried it, this is a great bourbon to get. Next, we're getting fancy. The Woodford Reserve Sonoma Cutia finished.
No, that's not how you say it.
I still cannot pronounce a single thing. I'll try to get some B-roll where you can actually see the bottles. But yeah, as I've mentioned before, this was the whiskey that I got for my first wedding anniversary. And due to the sole fact that this tastes like my wedding cake, sour cherry and vanilla. Lovely. Then to a distillery I've got a lot more love for lately. Maker's Mark, this one's the 46. And I've now seen that Maker's Mark, the 46 is in the traditional Maker's Mark shape. Even though I think I prefer this. It was an amazing chat with Charlotte about everything Maker's Mark. And it definitely reignited my passion for this, like the standard Maker's Mark, which I now currently don't have in my shelf for the first time I think ever. Banging stuff. Right, let's get Irish. First, a remarkably dusty bottle of Sexton. In truth, it's not a bottle I reach for ever. It's a cool looking bottle, and I'm very grateful for this as a gift I got for a Christmas or a birthday. But I wouldn't describe it as great whiskey. It's very much, it feels like an entry Irish whiskey with not a lot going on. That is really dusty. You know what, I'm going to keep a bit of a dud train going here on Irish whiskey, and it pains me to say this, Redbreast 12. I absolutely adored this whiskey at the start of my journey. However, now maybe this is a bottle that's kind of going flat. It has been open, maybe this one, I would guess maybe 3 years, but maybe it's just because I've tried so much more exciting other whiskies and more exciting Irish whiskies. But yeah, it doesn't quite hold the love that I once had for it.
Times change, babe.
But I will say it is still better than this Bushmills 21. Very glad I didn't pay for it myself. It was a competition win and I've shared it with lots of people. I think probably I've given this whiskey away, like poured it for people when they've come round. Then I've drank it myself, and yeah, I've done a full review, check that out. Remarkably underwhelming. Don't waste your money on it. Well, do if you like it, but don't. Just don't do it. I definitely don't have enough table room anymore. Now I can't comment on this one, and this is a bottle I'm really excited to pop open. I've just not brought myself to it. The Lambay whiskey, which is finished in cognac casks. I think this was from Instagram. Like, I used to love getting involved in all the Instagram competitions. And then, as people are very aware, Instagram's now got both very spammy and very buggy. So I don't use it as much as I used to. But yeah, it's 40%. I don't think it's going to be anything wild, but still nice to try something different. And I better keep the birdies together. The Redbreast Cash Strength. Now this is now my Redbreast bottle that I would say to anyone to try. It's definitely got a lot more life, a lot more punch. Obviously that ABV helps carry it. What is the ABV? So it's 55.8%. So it doesn't taste that high. And I imagine I'm going to try it in a video. I'm going to mix this and the standard 12 and see what that hates. Already not a fan. See what that creates. Okay, we still got some room. So let's dive to a real classic on my shelf. Jameson Stout Cask, or Stout Edition. I've not hidden my love for this bottle. This is an absolute banger. It is getting low, and in truth, I'm not going to replace it. I probably will maybe come Christmas time if it drops down to like 18 quid again. Possibly the best value Irish whiskey I think you can get. It looks quite snazzy as well. But to the replacement of that Jameson Stout Edition, the Teeling Stout, what's it referred to as? Teeling. I've been filming for too long already. The Teeling Whiskey Stout Cask. It's an Imperial Stout finished. I don't know how long. I'll find all the information when I do an actual review, but yeah, this is the killer of the Jameson Stout. It is a lot more expensive. I managed to get it on a crazy good deal, and I managed to buy it from a shop in Ireland and get it imported, and it just worked out dirt cheap somehow.
You beat the system.
It's got them stouty notes, and then it's just a fruit bomb on top. Banger. Is there more room? Let's shimmy some things around. Got to fit 3 more bottles on there. Of course, as I've said many times, I love a Dingle.
That's what she said.
The Dingle Single Malt. Again, I think that was a whiskey of the year 2021, maybe 2022. But yeah, fantastic stuff. It's a real like biscuity, just delight of a whiskey. It's very hearty, and it doesn't put off Scotch drinkers. When I've like shared this with people who I know are Scotch drinkers, this kind of falls in line with them. And then to Dingle's brother, the batch number 6. Now this is jam in a bottle. Somehow dirt cheap I got this. Like I want to say it was like 30 odd quid something. And yeah, again, it was from getting it imported from Ireland. But yeah, this is just jam. A port cask. I think it's matured exclusively in port casks. And yeah, this is just jam in a bottle. Then on to the last one, which is not opened. Powers John Lane. As you can see, it's the better looking Powers bottle in my opinion. Great whiskey. I've managed to try it 3 or 4 times and yeah, picked up the bottle and I'm hesitant to open it because I love the look of the old bottle so much more than the new one. That's my hoard of Irish whiskey. This will all be cut out, but moving these bottles takes too much time.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Right, let's see what's beside me to see what's next. I really need to be more organised doing these videos. To everyone else who does collection videos, I salute you. Like the work that you do for this is it's just fiddly. Right, so let's now go to the Scotch Highlands. So let's start with everyone's favourite. Not the bottle I planned on picking up, but Timorous Beastie, 18-year-old. So this is a blended Highland malt. Fantastic stuff. Well recommend this, especially when it falls at that like £50 price tag. Now the bottle I was meant to pick up, Dalmore. So this one's the Portwood. Not really hitting it much, to be honest. Always hitting it. That sounded weird. But yes, I've got the Portwood and of course the cigar malt. The Dalmore with more punch. That is definitely plenty of fake tan in there, I'm sure. I don't hide my soft spot for Dalmore, but I'm very fortunate I've tried a lot of other amazing whiskies which kind of put this a bit in perspective. What are the newer bottles that I've got? Siren Bay, which is a Highland single malt 18-year-old whiskey which is heavily peated. Lots of rumours on what this is. I'll dive into that in an actual review. Bought it from Master of Malt and it is an Atom Labs bottle. It's interesting but not mind-blowing, but it was a pretty bargain price. Now on to Signatory Vintage Glenord. Absolutely love this whiskey, a real fruit bomb. It's still taped up from when I came back from the Uncut and Unchilled Filtered podcast. No, it's unfiltered. Should be unchill filtered. What do I know? They do a better job than I do. But yeah, real banging whiskey this is and makes me want to explore Glenord a lot more. Next on the firing block, a very weighty bottle. Veticairn Warehouse 2, batch 3. But yeah, very cool looking bottle. Very tasty liquid as well. This was a mess up from Master of Malt. I ordered a Kilkerran. They were out of stock and then I thought, well, how far can I push my luck when they said they're giving me a replacement? I think this was like 20 quid more than what I paid, but
Stick it to the man.
you don't know if you don't try. Cheers, Master of Malt. Not sponsored yet. Next on to Glenmorangie Quinta Reuben, the port cask finish 14-year-old. So yeah, the old style, lovely whiskey, fantastic whiskey in fact. Banging 46%. As you can tell, I love port whiskies and this is, yeah, just a jam for me. We're keeping on with some weighty bottles. This is what Dalmore I think should be. So this is the Glenturret 12. The 2020 maiden release. Fantastic whiskey, fantastic looking bottle. Yeah, got some real life, got some real punch in it. Great stuff. Definitely starting to run out of room. Then you got the hype beast. Ardnamurchan AD, one of the best value whiskies going. I always think Ardnamurchan is islands, not Highland, but well, they're all islands up, but yeah, regions don't matter anymore. We've discussed this. Yeah, lovely stuff and great in an old fashioned. The best whiskey in an old fashioned that I've tried. Okay, getting a little bit sentimental. I'll do a 3-way. So we still got the Aqvavitae. I struggled saying it just as much as I struggled typing it. So we've got his 10-year-old Loch Lomond, the real yeasty, fizzy, estery delight, which I'm trying not to drink much of because once it's gone, I'll be very saddened by the fact it's gone. And then 2 unopened bottles. I know Roy's second releases of the 2 Ardnamurchans, the sister casks. The gold fly, the blue fly. I have tried a sample. Wait there. I have tried a sample and it was lovely. I can't remember which one it sampled. I've had to check my notes. And I do want to open these, but like I mentioned before, this is probably one of my more prouder whiskey achievements because that's I redrew that fly for Roy. So it's a stretch, but it's like cool to me. So yeah, the Highlands. So now let's head on down to the Lowlands. Oh, forgot this one. Starting off with a well-known Lowland bottle. The Auchentoshan American Oak, which I got a cool little birthday sticker on the back. I don't despise this whiskey. I know quite a few people are not fans, but it's a very easy, enjoyable sipper. But yeah, I'm no rush to open this one. Then we've got the bottle, which I somehow missed in my last rundown. The one and only Hague Club. So it's a single grain that's done from, is it Cambridge? Which apparently is Lowlands. I'm just winging this. This was a huge awakening in my whiskey journey. This one's not open, My wife got it engraved to me 9 years ago nearly now.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm getting old.
And yeah, it was a real opener into my start of my whiskey journey, so I don't knock it too much. As you can tell by the bottle, perfume. Much better than the Clubman though. And then on to something a little different. Another grain. This is the 29-year-old Glaswegian. A Whiskey Works bottle. I think this was from a notes tasting competition or something. Cool stuff, tasty whiskey. I've just got to hurry up and enjoy it more. And that's it for the Lowlands. I really should have done this in a much better order, but next, let's go to the Scottish Islands, even though not a region. Yeah, so we've got 3 Taliskers. Talisker 10 in the old design. This is how Talisker is envisioned in my head. And then another unopened bottle. The Talisker Portree, the porty one. Love this whiskey. I've just not opened this bottle. Let's finish off this freeway.
Yeah. The Golden Rule.
The Game of Thrones edition, which this was so reduced. Obviously, the Game of Thrones, cool idea to begin with, described as limited, people bought loads, and then they just flooded the market with more bottles. Yeah, not a lot to say about it. Cool label. Followed up with Ledaig 10, fantastic whiskey, like just a real banger, a real peaty delight. Possibly one of my favourite 10-year-old whiskies. I don't know, that's a bold statement to say. And then onto the older version. Ledaig 18, which I picked up dirt cheap. And this was like, I think this was the bottle I bought when I started becoming like monetized on YouTube. So yes, please keep watching so YouTube can give me that tasty, tasty money.
Money, please.
Oh, no, there's no money.
And then lastly, the Isla Rassi. I don't know if it's got a name, but this is just like their cool bottle. Stunning bottle. Was from Pour and Sip Members Club, so it was reduced and I used my points to buy it. I think this was how I ended my subscription with them. Lovely, lovely stuff. Right, let's see what's next. So let's head on down to Speyside. So here in the UK, when most people think whiskey, they think Glenfiddich. Got the old style 12 here, which is surprisingly smart looking. It looks very swish. Followed up with the Glenfiddich 18. This is what the groomsmen at my wedding got me. Cheers, George and Tom. I will open it, and I wanted to open it with them to get them involved in whiskey, but I haven't won that battle yet. Their argument is that I don't even like whiskey as well. It's just all for show. They're on to me.
You're a phony! Hey, everybody! This guy's a great big phony!
Next, Glenlivet 15. A real eye-opener of a whiskey, like the first whiskey I really pulled those flavours from. Just a hazelnut delight. And then getting more punchy. Glenlivet 12 Licensed Dram. I love the illicit still. This one's not quite as good in my opinion, but still it's a banging, fruity, juicy whiskey, and yeah, real shows how amazing Glenlivet actually is. Coming in with a bargain banger, Glenkeith Distillery Edition. I really like this. This is such a fruity, easy sipper, so light, pretty juicy, aged in the finest traditional oak casks, which is what you want to hear. Dirt cheap supermarket bottle, and really possibly one of the ones I grab to most when I'm editing videos because you don't have to think about it, you can just kind of enjoy the flavour. Another super cheap Speyside. The Master of Malt Secret, is it Secret? No, I can't even read off a label anymore. The Master of Malt distilled at the Speyside Distillery 6-year-old. I always thought this was like a secret Speyside, but no, it's the Speyside Distillery. And I've just loved this bottle. It is so spirity. And like you can tell by the near invisible colour. And yes, my second bottle, it was something like 20 quid, I want to say. And Master of Malt just, yeah, for me, they knocked this out of the park. Then to the other side of the spectrum, the Heroes and Heretics Tennant, 29-year-old secret Speyside Distillery. 48.9%. You can see the liquid at the bottom, which is cool. Distilled 17/06/1992. So this was a birth year whiskey for me, so I had to get it, and possibly the cheapest I could grab this bottle. I think I managed to use 2 discount codes on it. Gotta love to beat the system.
Well, you're an amazing con artist, so you're a very smart young man.
Okay, staying indie. Wax House. I've still not opened this one. This is release number 3. I've actually recently gone through, I had samples of all their releases and everyone's been fantastic. Their Cotswolds one was amazing. But yeah, this is a 10-year-old Linkwood, I think. Yeah, 10-year-old Linkwood in first fill red wine barriques. They're doing cool stuff. Check out Wax House if you've never heard of them. Then down to A Ben Reis, a Flora and Fauna bottle, 15-year-old. Again, this was going like crazy cheap, and I didn't know anything about Flora and Fauna. I just thought, that's a cool label, and I've never heard of Ben Reis. Ben Rins? Ben Rines. Why do I even have a YouTube channel? And then lastly, a bottle that kind of got quite a bit of hype, and I think well deserved. A Speyburn 15-year-old. I think again, this was the Aqvavitae effect. And yeah, this is an absolute delight of a bottle. It's not one that I've ever seen. You know, I've never seen the old fishy boy around, but this is a real jam of a whiskey. Desk is full, Speyside is done. Now let's take 10 minutes taking these down again. Next, let's go to the former capital of all things Scotch, possibly still the capital. That's up to debate. And it was a great fun topic on the Takeover V-Pub I done a few weeks back. Don't know when this is coming out, but I've got to start with the distillery I've got the most bottles for. I've noticed I'm slowly edging this way on the camera. So my Kilkerran collection has shrunk, and that's not due to unable to get the bottles because they do seem a bit easier to grab now, but starting off with an absolute favourite. Kilkerran 16. Absolutely love this whiskey. I've not had any batch variation, but I've not opened this one, so who knows. Fantastic stuff. There's going to be a theme here. Next, Kilkerran 12. Surprisingly dusty. Yeah, Kilkerran 12 like is the first whiskey that actually travelled to get a bottle. Wasn't like travelled far, travelled like an hour down to like a beach town, which somehow had a small whiskey shop with this in stock. Next up, heavily peated. This is batch 5, this one, and this is just a jam. Didn't realise it was 57.7%. Doesn't taste it. I currently have the latest batch of the heavily peated still in a basket online, but not brought myself to getting it. If anyone's had it, do let me know. And then the gem in the Kilkerran crown. The Kilkerran cash strength 8-year-old port cask matured. I'm not going to rabbit on about this. I absolutely love this whiskey. This whiskey is an absolute jam. It's a superstar in my collection, and it's one I try not to go to too often because I could easily get through this and then it will just be filled with my tears. Like, this is the highest scoring whiskey I've ever had, and still every time I pour it, it still blows me away. Just look at them lined up. That's like a flippage dream. Well, not because they're open. That's a nightmare for them. Moving on to another favourite. Just the Long Row Peated. A 46% banger. Still available in most places, and I would take... Actually, no. I can't say anything bad about Springback. They'll come for me.
I think it's in there. All right. Let's get it.
Absolutely love this bottle. This is just fantastic expression of like Campbelltown goodness. Then we're getting a little blended. The blended malt of Campbelltown Lock. I love this. Word on the street is quite heavily Kilkerran. This is the darker coloured one. I know there's like a big debate between the darker coloured one and the lighter coloured one, but I love this. This is just a delight. Try it if you can. I think this is staying on the shelves quite a lot now. Then I should have kept room at the back. This tall boy, Glen Scotia Victoriana. They have redesigned it since this, and I've not actually opened this one. I recently had a sample. Maybe it was just like after the Oz was, and it didn't connect with me as much as I thought it would. First time I tried it, loved it. Second time, not so much. We'll see when I get to this. I think this will probably be open soon because it's too tall to go on my shelf, so it just sits there in the corner of shame. But yeah, no Springbank on the lineup, and I don't mind that. I'm very pleased with this Kilkerran selection. I mean Campbelltown selection. So now let's move on to trying to see where they all are. Oily Whisky. And as I've packed away, I've also found this one. Goldrons, a Douglas Lane Campbelltown blended malt. Small batch bottling number 5, if that makes any odds to you. It is tasty, but not as amazing as I thought it would be, and I would take the Campbelltown Lock over this. Right, I'm back. Everything crashed. Gotta be done. Can't do a Jeff Whiskey video without something going wrong. Where did I get to? Right, let's dive on down to Oily. Where do I start? Okay, let's go with Lagavulin. So this is the 13-year-old for Shield 2021 natural cask strength finished in port casks bottle. Part of a crazy sounding good offer on the Whiskey Exchange. So it came in like, I think just under 60 quid, which I was happy with, but it's definitely not hit my expectations yet. We'll see how it gets on. Then a Lagavulin, which just punches it out of the park. The Lagavulin 8. This is the whiskey in my head that replaces the 16, and you can get this from supermarkets here in the UK. Fantastic, real fantastic Lagavulin whiskey. Next we got a bit of a dream whiskey for me. The Lug can't have been that much of a dream. The Laphroaig Law. Again, some crazy offer. It was on my wish list and I thought, yeah, I'll get it maybe in a couple of years time. Managed to grab it, something like 30% off. Awesome stuff. Didn't connect with it originally. Kind of was a bit like, oh, this is a bit maybe flat. Now I'm over the shoulder. It's really kicking off. Let's keep on that Laphroaig train. The quarter cask, an absolute banger. Very clean, very fresh Laphroaig. Just, yeah, fantastic 48% delight. Should have put them slightly further back. And lastly, Laphroaig 10 Sherry Oak. I praise this a lot. This is now on to the next bottle. Just absolutely phenomenal stuff. And was well deserving of my Whiskey of the Year 2020, 2021. I don't know. Thank you if you've been here since the start. You deserve like a medal or something. Now onto a bottle which has only got a dribble in it. The Port Charlotte 20-year-old for Shield 2024 Rock'n'Roll. Recently done a review on this and was a bottle that was sent to me very kindly by someone. With only like, I had a couple of drams of it. There is a dribble in this. I will finish that off most likely this weekend. And I would like to keep this bottle in truth, but I don't know what it'd be good for. I did see like these glass cutting things where you can make a bottle out, like make a cup out of it, but we'll see. Let's stay on the Port Charlotte train. The banging Port Charlotte 10. Absolutely love this whiskey. Just real fantastic stuff. Surprisingly different to the Rock'n'Roll bottle, but yeah, Rock'n'Roll's great. This is great. Port Charlotte's just great.
Great.
Then to a bottle which I didn't think in truth would ever make a full bottle into my cabinet. And that is the Classic Laddie. I haven't connected with this a few times, but after loving these Port Charlotte bottles, I thought, you know what? It's a really good price. Let's go for it. It's got all the specs you want. You can't see through the bottle at any point. No, definitely can't. But yeah, I've had a few drams of it and I've been surprisingly impressed by it. So all these years of me being like, nah, it's not for me. I've enjoyed it. There's like a little cheesy thing on the go. Really running out of room. Next, onto the Cult Distillery. Even though I don't think it's quite as culty anymore. Like, I think there's been a lot of drop off. And this is the Ardbeg 10. Finally got my hands on an Ardbeg 10 bottle. Just love this stuff. 40 quid. Can't go wrong. I'm surprised this one's not open yet. It's not like I've not got a lot of bottles to get through though. And then it's somehow still alive. The Ardbeg Ugadal. Like, I love this whiskey. It is lovely. Everyone loves this whiskey. Don't really need to say much about it. Now on well-loved whiskies. Kilchoman Macchia Bay. Now this is an absolute delight. I love this whiskey, like with a passion. Some people prefer the cask strength. I think I prefer this. Don't need to rabbit on too much because I know everyone loves it, but yeah, a banger. Next, the Bunnahabhain Strúradar. I think that was right.
You finally got one, eh? Nice one.
Possibly my favourite like core Bunnahabhain expression. It's just got, for me, it's just got a bit more life than the 12. Maybe it's just because I've had a Duff 12. But yeah, a little bit chocolatey as well, but yeah. Lovely stuff. Sticking at that distillery, the Whiskey Baron, I can't pronounce this, Deutsche, the 3-year-old. I love this. I've raved so much about this. And then obviously this was a gift from the people who work at the Whiskey Baron team. And when my face melted, they were like, you know, cheer up, have a dram. So I haven't felt comfortable giving it a review, even though I love it so much. However, that can now all change. As I've got another. I got in touch with them and went up and did their podcast, and I was like, can you please bring a bottle just to save me money on postage, because yes, I am that cheap.
Wouldn't want to spoil your fun, Mr. Cheapskate.
And they bought me a bottle. In truth, at the end of it, they didn't let me pay for it because they said, you know, I've travelled up there, stayed overnight to do it all. So they kind of said it's fair payment, which is very kind of them. I've tried to put my money where my mouth is, and a review of that's coming because I just love that stuff. One last bottle, and let's keep it indie. The Big Pete Christmas edition. So this is an Islay blended single malt Scotch, cask strength, I believe. And this is for people who love your numbers. This is, I don't know what year this is. I thought it would tell me. Let's just guess at 2022. But yeah, been very impressed with the Big Pete collection. So I hope this one's no different. I think Islay's the one I got the most bottles for. And I really putting a lot of faith in this old desk. So I think all that's left to say is, how could I forget about the blends? So starting off with Hibinki. Only kidding, this is my infinity bottle, which I've only just started. It was too nice a bottle not to use. I foolishly made the mistake of not keeping track what was in there. It's not quite a cask, but we'll see how it turns out. Next, an old big bottle of VAT 69. Yeah, if anyone knows how old this one is, let me know. Very kindly got given it. It's a big old 1 litre, and that's all I know. Next we got the Grant's Sherry Cask Reserve. I've been quite impressed with Grant's whiskey, so I'm going to open that. I don't know if that's still a thing anymore, that one. You can probably tell I've been filming for like an hour now, and it is hot. This is a lot of work to do on a Sunday morning.
You know what I'm hearing, Muck? Pour me. Pour me. Pour me another drink.
Next, the Orbital, the Whiskey Magazine World Blend. Had a sample of this, really enjoyed it, and I found it for like 20 quid. Don't know where I found it so cheap, but yeah, I'm interested in try it. I think world whiskey, as in a whiskey blended from whiskies around the world, is quite a cool concept. You know, we've got to unite and all that stuff. Whiskey. Now to a brand which I never thought I would return to. Black Bottle. So this is the Cloak and Smoke and Dagger, which is a smoke and salted caramel in theory. It's part of the Alchemy series. It's going dirt cheap. I think I want to say it's 18 quid I managed to get it on. The original black bottle, well, not the original, but the new one they released, let me down massively. I think I was left a bitter taste from being lied to by those damn influencers, even though apparently I'm one, which you can't really argue with. But yeah, it was someone who was paid to win, and I didn't realise that, and they gave a lot of praise to it. Some people do like it in fairness, but yeah, the original black bottle, in my books, trash. Obviously not the original, but the original. Yeah. This is good though. Getting malty with the Shackleton. It's a blended malt. This was reduced to clear in co-op. I've had it for a while and I no longer reach for it that often. Possibly be good for review. If there's any bottles you want to see like jump to the front of the review queue, let me know. Compass Box, Orchard House. Love this whiskey. This is a cider whiskey, and for someone who drunk a lot of cider growing up, above legal age, always be responsible. Yeah, lovely, lovely stuff. A real apple blast. Time to get serious. No, I'll never stop making that pun. The Serious 31, a blended malt Scotch whiskey. Apparently a lot of Kleinish on the go. But yeah, very waxy, citrusy delight. Love this whiskey. Yeah, I didn't know anything about it. I was sold on the look, I was sold on the age statement, and I was sold on the price. And this is one that I just love. Fantastic. But there you go. That is my collection. Let me quickly get rid of these bottles. So there you have it. Jeff's Whiskey Collection 2024. It's now done. I've now got to edit over an hour and 45 minutes of content to make this watchable. Thank you so much for watching. Generally grateful you're here. Cheers to the channel members, the Bottle Slap Club, who helped fund this out of control hobby. Nothing else to say. All the best. Cheers to the next one.